Okay, now we're recording for posterity's sake, and
Okay, well,
so
I
in
guess
case
it's time for me
somebody,
to talk about how work's going.
oh yeah, talk about work. How
Yeah,
is it?
work's going fine. We're in the middle of end of year reporting right now,
Ooh,
so
how exciting!
busy as ever. And we're also ramping up for next tax season, so we're hiring a bunch.
That's great. I'm very excited to hear that. Good luck on. Do you interview people?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, so
The big boss.
we switch off me and the other team leads just because we don't, that's not all one person's responsibility when there's 7 team leads.
Yeah. That's
all the people who will never listen to this video are really going to know our personal lives well.
Yeah. My job work is getting really exciting. I have I've compiled 34 pages of notes and exchanges of emails with the software provider and summarized it into a one-page document because I am pretty sure no one read any of the emails I sent them previously. So
Did you use ChatGPT to shrink it?
You know what? I should have indexed it like an OCR, right? Isn't that what they call it? ORC? Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, made it machine readable and then fed it to ChatGPT. That would have saved me a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Instead, I read all of it and realized there were note pages missing and added the extra 5 pages.
Sounds awful.
Excellent.
Yes. Anyways, let me tell you the highlight of that. By the way, I had gotten the price, gotten the estimate, gotten everything done, solved all their questions, and then they decided to call a new guy and start all over. So, same company.
Sounds like city government, bro. Glad to know your tax dollars are really getting bang for the buck.
Yeah, the discount we got was amazing. It was 0.05%. On a estimated upfront fee before the end of the year expenses, which were expected to be another $10,000 to $20,000. We were looking at like a $8,000 purchase, and we were going to get about $38 off.
Love it.
Love it. That was our discount.
Holy smokes, dude! All right, you buy a nice bottle of wine.
you can get 0.5% of your of the taxes back.
That's awful. That is so funny. So going back to Hulk and Ankara.
Oh wait, you're not going to tell us, Jordan?
No, I don't. Nobody cares. People that are watching this don't care.
Nobody watches it. We're the only ones that watch it, and I just do it sometimes to look for stuff that I need.
Rachel came into the city and I got to eat lunch with her, and that was really nice. And then I got all my work done for in the first half of the day. So then I spent the later half of the afternoon working on my Star Wars characters for CritCon. That was it.
Awesome. I listen to so many like RPG reviews and stuff while I'm like sorting through road records.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a podcast that was founded by the guy who set up VeggieTales.
Oh, really?
He
looks like a nice guy.
It's a really good podcast. They have some really interesting guest speakers on them from all over the place.
VeggieTales was a surprisingly good show looking back on it for what it was.
It holds up too. The original ones, they hold up really well. It was a good show. It really wasn't too preachy, despite what a lot of people, what you think. It really wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was good.
Speed, recap it for us.
All right, so last we checked in, at least before the session, the original session. After that, Autopsy was stuck in his own realm because we created a dark realm and a light realm. Light realm was accidental. Autopsy was stuck in the dark realm as the Lord of the Dark Realm. Eryn trained up wizards to be able to summon him and Ileana, the super wizard turned god of her own realm, of her own volition. All I did was give her a little bit of time, and she did it. and then it was midnight. A Cthulhu-type looking monster was coming through the realm. Eryn had Autopsy and Ileana summoned. Cthulhu-looking monster spit out some starfish monsters. Ileana fought those. Autopsy and I were fighting the big monstrosity. Towards the end of the fight, Autopsy gets turned into a starfish monster, a really big one. So we beat up the big monster. We knock out Autopsy.
Because he doesn't turn back.
Autopsy doesn't turn back.
Oh,
So Eryn had some homework. He had to figure out how to get Autopsy back in. He put Autopsy into his monster trapping, entity trapping bell. And then he went and seeked some help from his wizards on the planet, because Eryn is not a master of all wizardry, so he needed some transformation specialists. Eryn let his people know, as he always had, that he doesn't consider himself a god, even though he is very powerful, and they took that to heart. But he did find the information needed, and he was able to turn Autopsy back into Autopsy, and Autopsy then went immediately back to his realm. Eryn, at this point, decides, well, I need to go for more allies, so I go visit the Heaven Dimension, and they sort of already know that their time is temporary, and they're like, we just sort of want to be left alone. And I was like, well, I could force you to do this, but I'm not going to, because that's not my style. So unfortunately, Eryn was pretty disappointed that they didn't want to help. But as soon as Eryn came back, the people who had taken to heart that Eryn didn't consider himself a god had devised a way of splitting him into the Infinity Stones. So Eryn came back into the realm and was trapped and couldn't escape. He was being drained into 5 stones, and Eryn was trying to get help telepathically. He had to convince Autopsy's little shadow troop that Eryn wasn't as much the bad guy as they originally thought, and that they can consult their Lord of Darkness, Autopsy, to check on that. Eryn also tried to reach out to his people, but they were being systematically hunted by the faction. My people? No, by the other wizards who had, I guess, decided to usurp power. Wizards.
Yeah.
To gain ultimate godlike power, this is what they had thought.
Yeah. So, anyway, Autopsy gets summoned in the nick of time, and I don't get all of my powers drained, just 99.99%, and so I'm back to my basic power level in a world that I should be 1,000 times as strong.
Yeah.
And bad wizard dude, hold on while I get his name, it's up here somewhere. Mikhail Rutherford has the Infinity Gauntlet.
I believe it was Mikhail.
Mikhail.
With an M. Mikhail.
Okay, well I have that spelled wrong, so you'll have to type that in there for me so I can get it fixed where it's wrong in my summary. Anyway, Mikhail Rutherford has the Infinity Gauntlet. Eryn's trapped. He summons Ileana too after a little while to have him and Autopsy try and hunt down Mikhail to get Eryn's powers back. They eventually find him. They start battling. You know, the universe is shaking with the force of the combat.
Sure.
And then as they're fighting, and as Ileana and Autopsy are getting the upper hand, behind them shows up Ankara and a giant green rotting flesh bag, also known as Hulk 99 Zombie.
2099.
2099, sorry.
Is he a zombie in the 2099 universe?
No.
Okay.
So Hulk.
There's a great picture of him.
So Hulk 2099 Zombie ends up fighting with Autopsy and Ileana, who maintain an upper hand throughout the fight. but Ankara is perplexed at the situation, seeing Eryn basically be like a normal human where we're supposed to be, incredibly powerful, and she doesn't know what's going on, and she's genuinely curious. She asks, "Hey, Eryn, what's going on? What's happening in your universe?" In classical Eryn fashion, he says, "Well, it all started when I was born at a very young age," and he just literally starts from the beginning in his childhood, and she quickly loses her patience.
Well, actually, I think how it happened was that,
what your secret identity is?
James was like, she's very confused by this and, like, listens for a while, but, like, over there, you see Hulk and Autopsy slugging it out with Ileana, like, blasting into the crowd, right?
Right. No, I don't give her my secret identity. I would never do that. In fact, you should expect another memory wipe, because I don't think you even know my memory.
I don't know. I don't think any of us heroes know who you are.
Eryn is very tight-lipped about it, and he will use magic to alter your recollection.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you're the one guy whose secret identity has not been busted.
You can't. I will say this right now. You have basically zero hope of mind wiping Autopsy.
Yes, and that's about to get even more so. I've got one more trick up my sleeve. That's all right. I'm also the one guy who's never going to tell you about.
Are you going to take resist domination?
Yes. The quirk, the one that whatever the one is that like. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I think it just. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
Oh, you're fine. All right. So Eryn, hoping that because Mikael is beat up a little bit, but he's still there. He's confused too about Ankara being there, and he's like, "Why is somebody as powerful as me here again? I don't understand." And he's mad at Ankara for being powerful, so he initiates combat with Ankara, who. Ankara is also surprised that he's that powerful, and it ends up being not an easy fight for her, but she does end up killing him, almost destroying the moon. But
nice.
At that point, 2099 Hulk has been subdued, and my understanding of the description
we took him down, huh?
Yeah, was that Autopsy saved the moon somehow.
Yeah.
By intercepting the blast.
I think Ankara was using the moon to shoot at the planet to take down Mikael.
Right, so you saved the planet from destruction, essentially, but also the moon at the same time. But Mikael, he was destroyed in the process, as was the gauntlet containing Eryn's powers. So at this point, it was 3 versus 1. Not in Ankara's favor, and so she was like, well, I've learned some stuff about the gauntlet and stuff, and I'm leaving, and Eryn chased her out of the realm.
Oh, that's not gonna bode well for us.
Yeah, so Ankara understands the Infinity Gauntlet, which has already
and it should be noted that it became apparent that the boundaries... Everybody knew this, that the boundaries between the dimensions
boundaries are weakening,
fell.
Right?
No, they fell, right? So you can travel to anybody else's little plane of interest now.
Okay.
So that is the summary of what happened. Eryn's thoughts at the end of that is he needs to investigate the inter-universe damage. He wants to see specifically if like the Heaven Realm was damaged or Hell Realm within our universe that we're protecting. Because if any of that was damaged, then maybe the Heaven Realm would reconsider and defend the interworld, the inter-universe for a little while to extend their own lifespan.
Let them know that like their power comes from people revering them, right? So
I'm not sure if that's the case in this realm. I didn't really get that far, but
it's not really the case in any of the Marvel worlds.
Well, no, because in the other Marvel worlds, they're not truly divinities; they're like super people. But in our world, are they? Is it like the classical kind of Greek belief that the gods have their powers from humans worshiping them?
Yeah,
you don't know. Gods in this like super.
You don't know, and I don't think that's any. I don't think I think that's a modern conceit, like a modernized development, like the gods get their powers from belief. But in the classical
It's not
style,
agree-
the gods are just more powerful than us, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they're
All
there
right.
when they fashion the world, so they're there before there's anybody there to believe on them.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So that was one of Aaron's thoughts. Another of Aaron's thoughts was avenge his followers.
And you guys are
because he
going
told
into
them-
day 5, by the way, out
Right.
of 7.
and then maybe reinforce defenses somehow if we can, or set offenses to keep.
Yeah, what I'd like to do.
Before you guys get into your plans, the short version of what's going on in everybody else's world, just so you know, Delilah.
I'm sure Rebecca's is kind of.
Delilah and Daybreak were kind of on the fence about what to do. Daybreak wanting to interfere, Delilah not. Delilah and then Daybreak fought off against Phantasma and Red Guardian. They seem to have fled after a fight that went against Red Guardian. He was about to lose to Daybreak. Then Pangea's group did surprisingly good. Karnaxa...
race of super people.
Yeah, Karnaxa got an idea from Pangea on accident, and Pangea was like, oh my god, no, don't. And then he did it anyways, and he took a bunch of the demigods and like force merged them with entities from other dimensions, right?
Yeah.
And like a horrific magical experiment
Yeah.
to like merge 2 life forces into one. And it failed for a lot of them, but he did make a good number of like super like Ileana almost level people.
Okay.
At the cost of, by the way, that world is a hellscape, right? I mean, the planet is...
it looked awful.
Yeah, that planet should be frozen over. The moon got moved, it destroyed, and then they had to build a new sun that orbits around the planet personally. And then he took a bunch of those people and just murdered them for the purpose of making super soldiers.
Yeah.
And all kinds of stuff. So there's very few living inhabitants in that in that dimension. Pangea and Karnaxa then made an alliance with Benny and Clea. They got a lucky roll on who showed up at their house.
Oh, nice.
And we saw that Dr. Druid and the Earth Spirit Guardian were the female Dr. Druid, not the original Dr. Druid. Were the first 2.
Not the voodoo guy?
No, that's Brother Voodoo. Or Dr. Voodoo in some cases. I like Brother better. Not everybody should be a doctor. I think Brother is a term of like endearment or like respect.
And it's also a spiritual term. Yeah. Cool.
So, that's the short
And then
version
what
of what happened
happened-
with everybody else.
Okay. What about Doctor Doom and stuff? I guess we don't know, right? 'Cause
You don't know.
we don't know about. You're only doing player characters, right?
I haven't. I wrote down before this whole thing started more or less what everybody was going to do.
Okay.
So I've got these notes over here. So until you guys start to interfere with that, we'll see what happens.
So, is that can Josh and I start like thinking?
Yeah, do whatever you guys want now.
All right, Josh. I have an idea. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm listening.
Hold on.
So wait, do you having this meeting in the dark dimension?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I would have to go to him, or unless we can communicate telepathically.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah.
I also have a magic word that you can solve that I like up here. Just because it looks cool. But anyways.
You're really.
Are you talking
quiet.
to us, Jordan?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's better.
So, hold on real quick. If I take this one out, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, maybe this is the one that doesn't really work. I don't know. So, I was wondering if I think we should have a magic mirror, Josh, that I appear in and you appear in. We can talk to each other that way.
Boom, it's done.
Just because it seems super cool.
Yeah.
But
Yours is a shadowy
so what
mirror That kind of like has
Yeah.
like a shadow in the like a blob
you say,
in the
like,
middle, and
Brooklyn,
then
you have to like speak my name, and then I appear in it.
and it
yeah.
clears out to show Eryn, right?
Yeah.
And his is just a
Yeah.
massive like glass mirror.
Yeah, with like gold,
With like
the
gold,
trimming around it.
intricate gold, and like the cosmos the arrangements of the cosmos
Yep.
around the edge.
Yep. You know what I'm talking about. So, Josh, I'm thinking that we should, since we know that other really powerful magical entities are going to be coming in here. This is just a thought, and maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it could backfire, but I like the idea. I think we should make like power traps, like things that we have to find some way to make ourselves immune to them, but basically like strategically place them so that if magical entities over like a certain power level come through, these things activate and they like siphon the power out of them. Because we saw that it was possible with the Infinity Gauntlet thing we got you. It would be really helpful to have our own version of that. So if Angross shows up, we could be like, nope, and turn this thing on her and siphon her power off.
Yep. So that was actually number 4 in my to-do, is to research what materials were used to make the gems and see if I could set up a trap.
Okay, cool. All right, we're thinking on the same page here. What was on your other list? What was 1 through 3?
Well, I posted them in the chat. One was, I want to check and make sure the realm is stabilized after all the infighting.
Yeah.
Because ultimately the stability of the realm is my target.
Ileana was the cube world, was cube dimension.
What?
Her dimension was the cube world.
Ileana's was?
Yeah.
So does that mean, is she like our version of the Beyonder?
She's gotten stranger and stranger as the time goes on. No, she's definitely not the Beyonder equivalent.
Yeah, she's not more powerful than me yet, but she might become, based on the way Jacob's been having her power creep go, because I think she's either just as powerful as you right now, or a little bit less.
If we were to put her at something, she's probably at like a remarkable across the board.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. So she's class 3000. She's stronger than Odin.
Yeah. She's a dimensional entity. She's like... So if you look at the dimensional entities in Marvel, there's three classes. 4 classes. And this is a cosmology / Marvel stat lesson more than anything here. And this is nothing that you guys would know of, except for maybe in some sort of vague ways Eryn may know of some of that these things exist, right?
One might not mess with the other due to being outclassed.
Well, so you know the highest level of entities that are of existence that you know of is the Living Tribunal, right? They have the ability. They're a singular entity in the dimensional cosmology, right? And they are more powerful than any single entity it can be that exists only within one dimension. Okay, so that's top of the tier. You guys don't really know how or why the Beyonder exists or what kind of level he's at. You just know he's super powerful, right? Then there is the aspect level people. And these, you know of 2 of them, Speed, and they would be Eternity and Death. And these people are power. So Living Tribunal is class level beyond. Okay, Eternity and Death
like
are class
God level entity. Okay.
Yeah, they're beyond it. He's beyond in everything. Now there may be more powerful beyond people. We don't know that for sure, but there might be. Then there are the class 5000 people, and they represent a whole, like a major aspect of all of reality. And these are 2 that everybody knows of: Death, Eternity. That's been expanded upon. There's some other ones like Infinity or something like that, and some like Entropy and stuff like that. So anyways, but those are the 2 big ones. They're the only ones that you really need to know. And they're the only ones, I think Autopsy even knows of Eternity's existence and death's, maybe. I don't know about death. I don't think he does. But anyways, so you know of him, but you've never seen him, Eryn, right? Unless we've had an adventure with Eternity appear in it. I don't know.
We haven't. Other than the Infinity Gauntlet, but all of our memories got wiped.
Yeah, so Eternity and Death, they're class 5,000 across the board. And that's your guys' level right now. You guys, like right now, Eryn, you are the aspect of all of existence. You're essentially this dimension's eternity. And then Autopsy is like right now he's becoming like your anti-aspect, so he's almost a death character.
Yeah.
And then the next stage below that, so that's stage 2. Stage 1 is True Living Tribunal. Stage 2 are these figures, and then stage 3 are the major aspects level. And those are your people that are representative of a large part of reality, of like the existence in reality, but they are not beings of which reality necessarily has to have to stay in existence. Does that make sense? So like
they're not.
If you don't have eternity, nothing exists. But if
these things aren't keeping everything going.
Yeah. If you lose maybe order and chaos, right? Then you're more or less still fine. If you lose love and hate, you know, the world goes on, but you've lost a major aspect of reality. And those people are the next level. At the same level as them are like the top of the Celestials kind of guys. You know, the leader of all the Celestials. And sometimes even and then there's the 4th level. And these are the guys who are cosmic entities, way beyond the ability of gods and can influence whole galaxies.
Like Galactus.
But they are not aspects of all of existence. And these people are Galactus. They have some flexibility, like in their power scaling.
Doesn't he sometimes take on Celestial?
That's what I'm trying. Let me get to what I'm trying to say. So the 4th level kind of has some flexibility, right? Some of them seem to bump up and down, and they go down below that cosmic entity level at their weakest, and they sometimes are higher than the 4th level, low level cosmic entities. Galactus, he has a built-in tie-in for his like weakness of being how hungry he is, right? How well fed he is equivalent to his energy. Yeah. So at his best, at his normal, he is like a one-on-one versus a normal Celestial. At his best, he seems to be pretty comparable to like the number 1 Celestial, the big head honcho of the Celestials, who I said was a 3. The Celestials are a pretty solid 4th tier kind of character. Honestly,
the Avengers make like a base out of their bodies, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's shouldn't have ever happened.
Okay.
And then those guys have 1 or 2 powers, or a couple powers that are in the class 1000 range to class 3, and maybe 1 at class 3000. And then they have often they have a couple abilities that are in the normal ranks, or even the shift ranks, right? And so these guys, those guys, in some ways, are comparable to the head gods or the demon lords.
Yeah.
And then there below them are the very powerful space entities, and those people are like your Watcher, your elders of the universe. You know, they're very powerful space gods, really, that are, you know.
So which one do you consider Ileana to be part of?
Ileana would be like your 3rd tier character. She's
She's like a celestial level.
No, she's like a one of those core aspects of a reality, but she's not something that the universe can't exist without.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And
Cool.
I mean, you said she's becoming more strange. What do you mean by that? Like, what's her personality turning into? Is it alarming?
weird. She's getting weird. She's getting quirky and being more and more influenced in her weird ways by her dimension. And her dimension seems to be this white mass of space that has weird shapes floating through it, and she just kind of floats around and like looks at you weird. How else would you describe it, Eryn? I mean, that's what I've been trying to play it up a little bit, but
I mean, I don't think I got that detailed of a description. Just that she's starting to act strange, and you
Was she
know,
in like the?
she's showing a lot. She's
abstract
showing a lot of detachment from the going-ons of the regular part of the world too.
yeah. Basically, all she craves is power, Jordan.
Yeah, and she does. Well, she doesn't have very much concern about other like lesser entities now, but she does have. She did get pretty passionate that the order of the universe was disturbed, right? When
Okay.
Aaron's abilities were stolen. So, yeah. A person with an infinity gauntlet is probably like class 5,000 and everything.
Okay.
But, and I'll start with your fourth one. As you examine the stones, or the machinery that was used to make the stones are destroyed. You realize there were fairly regular gemstones that have been enchanted and modified in strange ways to kind of absorb the ambient energy of the dimension. They sort of redirected that energy, which is really, you're realizing, like kind of a part of you. And what some of the ways of which you're able to entirely control everything in this reality, right?
Yeah.
But once it started to begin that absorption process, then it could entrap you because you're a part of this reality. So by kind of capturing the core functions of the reality within this machine, or really is some sort of device, is really what it is, that can control and shape this aspects of the rules of the universe. It granted the wearer, infinite cosmic powers.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a way that
You
we
know
can
that
take
the principle here would not would mean that these items were entirely useless outside of your own dimension.
Cool.
Right. Because it's based upon our dimensional.
Yeah.
Like it might be able to be repeated in another dimension, but it would also only work in that one.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, Jake, is there a way that we can take is there a way that we can calibrate this towards the dimensional energies of another reality and like siphon off those powers?
Yes. If you go into the other reality and set up this machine.
All right. So I'm not.
But
You
we
go
could
ahead.
calibrate the machine for our reality, but we couldn't have it and be in our reality, but be calibrated towards another one and have it be in ours.
No, it has to be within it.
Okay.
It's
Now,
physically impossible to access the dimensional energies of a dimension that you're not within.
So Aaron has an idea,
Okay.
because basically he just wants to expel foreign entities to protect his own dimension, right?
Yeah.
So Aaron, I guess this might be like some sort of role to see if there's a way that Aaron could work on the machine to use his power from within the machine to expel any entity, or
The machine can't do anything that you couldn't do. It's not really that kind of device. All it does
So it
is
couldn't enhance any
oh,
of my
what
power.
what you're looking at is something that like it's like a wood chipper, right, or something like that. It feeds you feed fuel into it or a device in,
And it
you know,
changes
you
it.
put a log into the end of it, it compresses it down, puts it into some teeth, spits out the result, which in a wood chipper is wood chips. And this machine is 5 stones that contain all the abilities of the universe.
Gotcha.
So what
Okay,
you're
so-
asking is something that's fundamentally not what this machine is capable of doing. It's like asking the car to make you run faster.
Okay. All right. So I don't think there's much we can do that's of use with these. Based
Well, I mean,
off
if you
of their
could,
abilities.
you could go into another universe, take this machine with him, and then depower people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
I will let you do that. I'm
That
gonna
is
stay in the
that is basically an invasion, though. So I mean, it might be just as easy to
Yeah.
just go in and beat them to death.
No, maybe not. Because this
Yeah.
thing depowered Eryn pretty easily.
It took him a couple months to build it. So remember the time flow stuff.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
now, Jake, how do when someone comes into our entity or into our dimension, how do they have powers?
Because they have powers outside of these dimensions.
But are they on the same scale?
Yes, because everything is scaled down below you, right? That's why you're not actually, you are more powerful in ways because you can influence stuff in ways that you were not able to, but in total the amount of power you have is not any different. You're two normal
Okay.
people playing with dolls.
Yeah, and so then when someone comes into our dimension, they're a normal person.
Yeah, they're a normal person.
Yeah. Okay. But so what I kind of want to do is I want to calibrate this
But
machine.
I mean,
to
you guys did talk about something, which was, like, we had believed that we could weaken people or something as they
Yeah.
came into your dimension.
Yeah.
And
I want to make like basically a trap at the door.
that was it. Yeah.
to,
So,
like,
but
as they come in.
and what you know when you think about that, Eryn knows for sure that that's how the real world works. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be how this dimension's working, but invaders are weaker when they enter your reality.
Yeah.
Now these realities are much more unstable, much more vulnerable than the real ones. But it's like with the proper work and knowledge, you could definitely set up those same sort of reality rules, right? Because anybody who enters it has to play by the rules of the reality that they enter, even if they do have.
Sure.
You can't just say, "Oh, nobody else is allowed to have infinite power," but you could say, you can put you can set rules. Does that make sense? If everybody's got to play by the same rules. You guys have but that doesn't mean you can't give yourselves home court advantage.
Okay.
Well, let's do that, Eryn.
I think that's the way forward because I don't care about destroying all the others. Like that's a distraction.
Yeah.
I just want to defend. So, Eryn will do whatever research she needs to do in order to set that up.
Okay, for you, it's going to be like all independent sort of research. He's going to have to go out and study the structure of the universe, the spells that are holding this reality together, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then come up with his own theories of spellcraft. So,
would it be helpful to take a contingent of people with you to do that, Eryn?
I mean, Ileana's a little bit.
Are you
she-
are you going to want to reveal the very secrets of your existence to somebody else?
Yeah, I don't know if you should do that.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
I think
But,
I say that just because Eryn just got burnt, right?
Yeah, by doing that, yeah.
I didn't give them the secret. I just said, I don't think I'm quite as powerful as you think I am.
Yeah.
Uh,
You were
but
too
I do-
modest.
As a dimensional entity, the ones who helped me, I do give the express power to call on me for aid. Sort of like, you entreat a dimensional entity. So that's the gift I give to the people who helped me to stave off the evil wizards who thought they could usurp my power.
Oh, so the Raven Men and your the apprentices of the people you trained.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I give them that ability, just sort of like, they can entreat me based on their relationship with me, and the ones who have helped, obviously, they're going to know who I am. So
They
they're
get an
gonna have some
automatic
power.
yes.
What? They get an automatic yes, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Audience.
You will have. So here's how this is going to work, right? Because
Yeah.
you're right. You're 100% right. They can entreat you, but to know what you're saying, you have to decide. The people you're saying they're favorable, correct? Right.
Right. The ones who helped me are favorable.
Okay. So if you want to check in on them, you have to explicitly ask what they're up to, what they're using your magic for, right?
Yeah, they don't just get to like siphon off his power.
They do. They just gotta use his power. And here's the thing,
you might wanna address
right?
that.
If you don't want to do that, you're gonna spend a significant portion of all your time parsing requests. Because I think the default has been no up to this point.
Yeah.
So, that's not to say that they're gonna get anything wrong. I mean, they may not be doing anything. They may be all just like going out and stopping demons. Like, that's gonna be the people you picked are all good people. So, 90% of their requests aren't going to be any problems. But
yeah. How about this? I only automatically say yes to things that entreat me to stop magic. Yeah, to stop magic.
That
Sort of like
is
how-
not really how it works, I don't think.
Well, sort of like how you can banish people, like with the power.
That you get a bonus, right? The power to banish people with certain aspects is better, like dimensional entities. But the dimensional entities, it says it in the magic book explicitly, don't check everything. So you can even get magical energy from an unfavorable. You can cast a dimensional spell of somebody who hates you.
Right. Yeah. As long as they're aware of me or I'm aware of them, I can entreat them.
As long as you're aware of them, they don't have to be aware of you. In fact, most magical entities just deal out power all the time because it's inconsequential to them. It doesn't affect your total power.
I don't know, Aaron.
Okay.
I might let them. You've already made some pretty powerful wizards. Maybe let them figure that out. I don't know if giving them a siphon on you is a good idea. But that's your call to make.
Okay. Well, I tell them to enlist with the Raven Guard, and your people are responsible for training them to protect themselves better.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so you're sending your few elite followers to go, remaining elite followers to join up with the Raven Guard.
As long as the Raven Guard is chill with me now, yeah.
I would
I'd
say
like to do, Jake.
I would say that a minority faction is cool with you. Like there is a autopsy. If you're observing the Raven Guard, which I guess we are since we're talking about them.
Yeah.
There is a major rift appearing in your faction, and There's since you're in an extra dimensional, there's very little you can do about it.
Why is there a major rift in my faction?
Because some of them are saying, well, the Raven King or whatever, the Raven King, that's what they're calling you, is on the same side, is an ally of the magic god. And the other ones are like, no, he set us up to be, to eliminate mages.
All right. We got to get some theology straightened out here.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do.
I'd like to ping one of my followers with the magic mirror and be like, hey.
Yeah, so your followers, you have a decent number of them. Most of them can't be reached by you any longer. It's just, you can't just pop up in front of people. But you do find somebody and tell them that. And
I say that I would like to have a meeting with all of the Raven Guard. Because I don't want to just tell one person to have been passed along. I want to talk to all of them.
Okay.
In fact, yeah. So, and in fact, what I'd like to do is give them all, like a charm, right? That allows me to speak to them. Like
doesn't no.
From that doesn't happen.
No.
Doesn't like
you
Dormammu
can't
like
you can't give a magical charm to a million people to speak to them.
Oh, do I have a million?
Yeah, your guys' population's doing good. You haven't lost very many people. Your world's healthy.
Okay.
And you're a major sub player, right? And if we go back to that, go back to the map, the prop map.
Yeah.
You guys were Minjune or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need me to paste the map? Because I have it handy.
What did you say?
Do you need me to paste the map? Because
No, it's under props. So you if you that whole center continent is in mass anarchy, and the alliance of minor states has kind of broken apart.
Over this theological.
The minor states were all supporters of your religion. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think what I'd like to do then, Jake, because I hear you, giving each one a magical amulet seems like a much. I'd like to set up a maybe like a tower, or no, not tower's a little not quite the right thing. I want to set up like a reflection pool, right? And then when I have something important to say, I will message them through it, and I want to set up like a watcher over the pool. And they're the ones that whenever I have something to say, they issue an edict to the rest of the people, to say like, hey, gather. But I want it to be understood that everybody is equal when it comes to hearing from my voice. I don't in these kind of situations. There's not a hierarchy of people that are supposed to be talked to, from a high priest or something down. It's when I speak, it's for everybody who's aligned with the Raven Guard. Does that sound doable?
It's definitely not going to work like that in the long run, but
yeah, I know people are gonna like.
Yeah, I mean you're able to talk to a certain group of people directly, so. But yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so I issue that, and basically what I'm gonna say is like, hey, I'm going on record here. I want it to be understood that me and the God of Magic are equals and allies with each other in keeping this realm safe, and we see the magic users and we see the Raven Guard as equals and allies of each other for the purpose of keeping each other in check.
Make sure you specify which faction of magic users, because there's two at this point.
Yeah,
there is if you're actually observing with your godlike powers, there are there are hundreds of Magic factions that have erupted in the last few years.
Okay. I would say chaos-based Magic, right? That's the one that's the no bueno for us. But basically, that Magic users and Raven Guard are equal opposite sides of the coin. You know, that both are important for society, but we don't want that. I mean, they don't have to always agree, but we want them to understand that the primary goal is that they work together in the face of outside opposition to protect the realms, and that I will brook no dissenting opinions upon that. I do not want persecution of Magic users or Raven Guard, one way or the other, because imbalance of power leads to a weakening of us, and it allows outside forces to take us over and divide us and defeat us.
Okay. The message is passed along. And I mean, they have a great gathering to hear what you have to say. There is a significant dispute over whether you have been replaced by a spy of the Magic God.
I'll give them some signs and wonders if they need to know if I'm actually legit.
They
maybe show them the army of the host of shadow men that I have.
Yeah, they. I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah.
But I think that makes that helps solidify the shadow religion.
Okay.
Okay.
And ends discussion of the justification of persecution of Magic users.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure
it causes the persecution faction to shrink significantly, and it's flip flops. Instead of being the majority faction, they become the minority faction, and then
I'm fine with that.
And then they break apart into a bunch of other factions.
And if they want to talk about people with left hands being evil or what side of the glass to drink from, that's fine. They can figure that out on that.
I have an idea for my stuff once Autopsy's done.
Oh yeah, last thing, Jake. Is it possible, since we have a shadow dimension, is it possible to tap into the shadow dimension that might exist in another universe?
No.
Our dimensions are locked within ours.
Yes.
I don't have the ability to tunnel through
No.
to the dimension somewhere else. Okay.
You can leave. Well, you could leave if you weren't tied to your dimension like you are now.
Yeah. Does it make sense, Josh?
That's the other thing. You're a dimensional entity, so you can't really leave.
Yeah.
Without being summoned by wizards.
No,
Well, that's why I
you can't
wasn't
really
sure.
leave.
Period.
Yeah, he can't
Well, I
leave
mean,
this.
I can be summoned into it.
You guys are playing
World.
defense, so it's not a big deal. But you can't be summoned
I
into
can't
another
leave.
magician's reality.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was an underlying connection between all the shadow dimensions.
No, none of them are connected, and you don't know if there are any other shadow dimensions.
Okay. I was just wondering. All right, Josh, go ahead.
Alright, so Eryn doesn't want to spend too much time thinking about this because he wants to set up the protections that he has thought about that exist in his existing dimension to give him an upper home court advantage sort of deal. So what he's going to do is he's going to tell his followers, you have 3 months of access to my power to get things under control. These are my expectations. Defend yourself and bring the ones who are chasing you down to heal. And as soon as those 3 months are up, the outflow of my power stops, essentially.
Okay. So you're going to speed up
I
time
just
again?
allowed mass genocide for 3 months, homie.
I mean, I tell them I prefer imprisonment over killing, but I mean, I can't concern myself too much with their going ons. I just want stability on the planet, and I don't want to be trapped in another bubble. That's really all I care about. And then Eryn will spend all of his time, like, obviously he'll be answering these specific, like, 20 people who came and helped him, their calls for help, and no one else's, and then after 3 months it's shut down.
I updated your map. This is what's going on. This is what the world looks like. It kind of goes the way Autopsy said. There's a mass purge. Your followers are able to turn the tides and stabilize the Argasian theocracy thanks to the 3 months gift. But it's definitely not enough time to get things under control. But it does give them enough time to keep it in shape. The world that you're watching now, though, has erupted into a number of rebellions and civil wars, religious heresies that are being persecuted and destroyed, religious disputes. Those are like the wars of religion of the European era, right? It was what we're seeing. We're seeing like the 60 Years' War, like the Protestant Reformation and the wars that erupted after that. So it's pretty ugly down there. But your guys' favored sides seem to be winning.
Okay.
Thanks to your moves.
The more moderate, the more powerful moderate voices.
Yes.
Cool. Well,
Okay. I mean,
are they getting magically stronger too all the while?
Not really.
They've plateaued. I figured they had to.
Yeah, there's not a lot of improvements they can make anymore.
Yep.
There's a very prominent magical society with a very well developed education and research system. So they're always making improvements, but a lot of that ability to do magic is ability, right? And it doesn't matter how much practice or whatever you get. Sometimes people just don't have as much of a gift in it as others do.
there's
As
only one.
Ileana or Mikhail.
Yeah. So, and while there are some improvements in magic and magical knowledge, and the techniques are getting more sophisticated in places, it's not significant enough to really affect their absolute power.
Okay. And I wasn't really trying to with my 3 month thing.
Oh, well,
I
during the
basically
3
was-
months, there's a significant momentarily leap, but it's a lot to do with them just being able to access your powers.
Yeah.
It does lead to them searching for other entities to draw power from. Ileana, it gives her abilities pretty freely, it turns out. And the religion of the heavens, Fosk, is pretty widespread as well. Starts to become pretty widespread.
Nice. Well,
And so
I guess
you guys-
at least he's helping somebody.
You guys end up taking. He seems pretty positive. I mean, there's obviously demon worshippers. Everybody agrees they're bad. Chaos magic is bad.
Yeah.
But you can do some pretty horrible stuff by doing order magic. So.
Yeah.
And you can do some pretty good stuff while you proclaim to be trying to balance the scales. So.
Yeah.
Okay. like I said, Aaron isn't like really concerning himself with observing what's happening. He just is still doing his research. So that's, you said it'll take as much time as I can get, so I'm taking all the time I can.
Yeah, if you hadn't given them that 3 month, well, so 3 months is most of the fifth day, I would say. Right?
Do I have to pay attention to that?
No, wait,
I thought you-
23, 6. Okay, so no. 3 months is like if you put it to full speed. Well, you had to, right? You had to pay attention because you were selectively granting abilities.
Gotcha.
So 3 months is actually probably more like an hour for you because it's probably about as fast as you can put it and still go through all of the requests. And so you spend about an hour on that and let
Okay.
3 months pass.
I'll
And then
accept
you're
that.
and then you're able to start working again.
A Lannister always pays his debts.
Good. Okay. So yeah, what do you? Oh yeah, you make a reason roll with any magical knowledge skills applicable.
Okay. Am I allowed to use any karma or declare karma use if I need to?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, well,
Do you have very much karma?
what?
Do you have very
Yeah,
much karma?
Josh does nothing but hoard it.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
he
good
banked
spells
most.
cost 2,000.
He banked most of it.
I
Yeah.
haven't been able to bank since our last 2 sessions.
Oh, okay. So what are you at?
Hold on, let me pull up the right doc. I have 965 banked and 230 not banked.
Okay. 230. Okay.
Yeah, because I think you gave us 150 last time or 100 and then like 150 the time before or something. And either way, I've not used it a ton.
Okay. Make your roll.
There's a 55 on excellent. And what were you saying I could boost it with?
Karma.
Well,
Oh.
I mean, what?
Any
Talent.
knowledge of magic skills. You can just tell me what you
Okay,
think
so
you could use, and I'll
I
tell
have-
you yes or no.
Occult lore,
Yes.
mystic background,
Yeah.
Atlantean lore.
No.
Okay, so that's two rank bumps.
Yep.
You're kicking on an uncanny, right?
Yep, and 55 is not a yellow. I'll bump it up to a red. So 40 karma.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You. Thanks to the karma expenditure, you feel like you're making good progress. It's gonna take a while to get this set up, though. You've really got to get a good grasp on a theory that is really somewhat beyond your capabilities of understanding. Maybe I don't know if Aaron's had this experience before, but he's looking at something that he thinks he could maybe make it work, but it's not something that he feels like he could duplicate. You know what I mean? It's one of
Right.
those. It's like when you look at like a bunch of computer code and you're like, oh, I gotta fix this bug that I think I know where it is at, and you can go in there and find the thing and fix some stuff, look up some tutorials, but to write the whole block, right, would be too much.
And make it work, right?
Yeah. So, that's what he's up to, and it will take him a while. Roll a d10, and that'll be how many hours it takes of real world time.
There you go. 2 hours.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Anything you'd like to do, Autopsy?
Yeah. Is there a way? Do we also have a dark dimension?
No.
Or, we don't? That's what the shadow dimension is the opposite of the light dimension and the dark dimension?
Here it does appear to be, yes.
Okay. And you're saying I can't affect anything outside of my dimension unless it's summoned?
Yep.
Okay.
You can grant people you can grant wizards access to your dimensional energy.
Yeah. But do I actually, my shadow powers are boosted beyond where they're at because I'm the Lord of the Shadow Dimension, right? When I'm in the Shadow Dimension, they're more powerful.
They've been boosted overall.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they should get an additional boost. Everything should get an additional boost, I think, in the Shadow Dimension.
All right. And I don't have any way of like merging the Shadow Dimension with our normal dimension, do I? If I need to.
Yeah, you could. You could assault the normal dimension and try to tear apart the boundaries of dimensions.
I would probably have. Is it like? Can I do it in a localized area?
No.
Or does it? It's like mine would just completely sweep over the rest of them.
No. It's. I mean, you've dealt with the dimensional interaction before. You're essentially just going to wipe out all life in that dimension, and.
Yeah. You just take over. Okay. I wasn't sure if I could make like.
You're smashing together two different worlds, right? So that's what the effect's going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be cataclysmic. It's apocalypse stuff you're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
Which, if you want to go that way, I mean, you could merge it, and the whole thing could become the shadow dimension. You'd be pretty powerful then.
Yeah, but that would be kind of. But then she said, like, if I destroy this dimension, then we lose. So.
No, your dimension. So okay, there's two scales to dimensions, right?
Right.
There's a dimension. It's hard to use these sort of terms, and then we'll call them realities. Okay? And the realities are sub-dimensions. So if you think about it like a planet, right? You've got a planet, which is the main reality. The main reality.
Yeah.
And no. Think about it like a solar system, right? The solar system is the dimension, and then the reality is the main reality is kind of the sun, and then all of the sub-dimensions are planets that orbit the sun.
Yeah.
Now you can even do sub-dimensions of a sub-dimension, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens on an Earth Hell, because the Demon Lords subdivide Hell dimension so they each have their own line.
Yeah. So I think what I would like to do, similarly to Eryn, like training an elite guard of like wizards that can kind of tap into his magic, like when he tells them. I guess I want to, and I want it to be slightly different than what he's doing, but I want to find the most loyal and altruistic members of my society, and I want to basically make them like cosmic guardians with my power when that need is called upon, when the time comes.
You
You
would have to observe for 5 or 6 hours to come to that conclusion. No, there is to come to that conclusion. It's impossible for you.
Okay.
Because you can't. There's too many people. You're just going to be able to pick somebody, and you have to follow them around for a couple years of their life, which would be a couple hours.
They don't have cosmic awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, none of you guys do. You can't see. You're not omniscient.
Yeah.
Now, and second of all, you can't really create cosmic entities just by. I mean, you could give them a portion of your power. You could give yourself. You could cut off a point of your stats and give it to them.
actually be helpful in a fight against someone like Ankara? I don't think so. I think it'd be better.
I mean, you'd
for
have
me
to give them
that
10
power.
points for them to have a 10.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to pick the most powerful members of your society and give them a couple of points there, I mean, you could get a bigger difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I'm trying to think, it kind of sucks being bound to the dimension, because there's not a lot that I can affect.
Yeah, you got the shadow power bonus, which I don't remember what it was. Let me look and see if I have a note on it. I think it was like a +2 CS to your shadow powers.
Yeah.
If we didn't specify it, we would have to go back and watch the videos. If we didn't specify it, let's go with that. We'll go as a +2 CS to your shadow powers, period. And then when you're in
And my
the
armies
shadow
and shadow
dimension, you have a +1 CS to everything.
But then any like when I fought Hulk, I didn't have that, right?
No.
Because I was outside of it.
Yes. Oh, and if the main reality ceases to exist, I mean, that kind of...
I see. Steve.
Well, no, it wouldn't cease you to exist, I would say. Probably more like cause all the other minor worlds to collide.
Am I still able to bring my armies out of the shadow dimension, though?
No.
If I'm summoned?
Yes.
Okay. And if I cease to be in charge of the shadow dimension, I would lose those armies, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, we'll risk it. We'll continue with it for now. I'll stay in there for now. I might talk with Eryn about severing that connection at a later point.
Well, when you do that, somebody from your shadow dimension armies will take over.
Yeah. Alright, I'll start...
Which is why you guys didn't do it previously, because your shadow monsters are monsters.
Yeah, I think... Then what I'm going to do, Jake, is I'm going to kind of like be grooming someone like Ileana, like Eryn
There's
had.
nobody like
I'm
that.
gonna-
You don't
Well,
have
I mean, but-
you don't have people in your world.
No. I meant in the Earth realm, and like allow them to take it over
He's gonna get hope.
if they wanted to.
Okay,
Like,
make
if
a
I
roll.
Send,
We'll make it come down to a roll. This is just a luck roll.
okay. What am I rolling, buddy?
High is good.
Well, that's but I meant like, is it off of any stat or is it just?
Nope, it's just a roll.
Okay, so karma doesn't
Because
apply, right?
this is just literally your luck, right?
Yeah. All right.
You're just
All
looking for somebody who has the potential ability to rule their dimension, which is
Well, no, I'm thinking like I'd be looking for someone who's like a high up among the Raven Guard already. That seems...
none of them would be capable of taking over.
Okay, all right.
Ileana was it was a blue moon, right? And
I don't know.
Eryn,
I don't know how she got there.
Eryn, well, she was a lucky find. That's what it was. So, Eryn picked her up
Okay.
not because she was particularly morally good, but because she was super powerful, potentially super powerful. And
I didn't really ask her if she was nice.
Yeah.
I just got lucky that she wasn't a psychopath.
yeah.
Fair. All right. This is not a great roll. It's 26.
You don't find anybody who is powerful enough to even have a hope in your shadow crew.
All right. Then I'll keep looking at it. I'm just gonna keep training my army. Is that something that I can do?
Yep.
I'll be doubling down on my making.
Yeah. I mean, and you can do
Potentially,
other stuff in your world, right? You are the supreme being of your dimension. The only limitations
Yeah.
are that everything is shadow based, right? You can reshape the shadow world to be whatever you would like, and the creatures there are aspects of that. What this realm has decided is shadow, right? And it is somewhat opposite of light, apparently. And what your experience has been
Okay.
is that they are creepy, inky monsters that lurk in the darkness and are like the sources of
Do I have
many.
the ability,
They're
do
the
I have
sources
the
of
ability to
many.
shape their alignment?
They're the sources of many like myths and
Yeah.
horror stories on the real world.
Okay.
No, right? That seems to be a core aspect of it. Like you could
Okay.
transform them, but they will always retain this sort of monster in the dark feeling.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
So if you want to make them, right now they're basically some sort of like creature that kind of slithers around, like shuffles through the shadows on like a 2-dimensional, like a sort of like a cloak of kind, and then they just kind of
I'm gonna shape
and
them.
then they suck people in, kind of thing. But you could like transform them into whatever form you want and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna transform, going with the army kind of thing. We're gonna transform them into like shadow knights in armor, shadow legionnaires kinds of things.
So the more humanoid form you give them, right, the more self-aware and
Do they get more self-awareness from that?
the more self-aware and independent they're going to be.
How does that make any sense?
Well, let's think about it. What humanoid form creatures do you know of in mythology that don't have some sort of self-awareness, that aren't robots?
I'm thinking like terracotta men, or
Those are
something.
robots.
Like just because you have the shape of a human form doesn't mean that you're a person.
Yeah, but those are robots, right? These are creatures.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at demons,
Well, I mean,
devils, angels.
Would you call
Elves.
Dormammu's whatever his like Cyclops men, or Dormammu's Cyclops men, independent thinkers?
They sort of have a little bit, but nothing significant. But I mean, you could make them into something like that. I mean, they're not really humanoid though. They got like 2 fingers and like 1 eye in the middle of their face, and they're made out of.
What if I made them look like a suit of armor? Does that, even if it's like humanoid shape, they don't necessarily look like people? Does that make them more automatonish?
Yeah, you could make them. I mean, if you don't want to, you want to try to keep them as dependent upon you for thought as possible. That's fine, I mean, there's trade-offs, right? The more independent they are, the more capable they are of self-improvement and development, right? But the less control you have over them. Right
now I want to stick with control. So I'm going to turn them basically into like shadow weapons, weaponized soldiers, kind of thing. So
suits of armor.
Suits of armor. Shadowy suits of
armor. So now they look like shadowy suits of armor that kind of have like one of those shadow monsters jammed inside of it. Which makes them far more independent than they were. Before they were nothing more than like amoebas, right?
Yeah.
They were just a thing that was out there to devour. And now they can take commands.
Yeah,
really.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, before you could say attack, come back, don't do that anything. Now you could be like,
make tactics, right?
Now you could say like, make me a cake, and they'd be like, don't know what that is.
Yeah, and do I have the ability to like, if I combine them together, do they become more powerful entities?
No.
Okay.
I mean, somewhat, but not significantly.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I could make like a giant shadow golem with me.
Yeah,
like the size of a planet.
Yeah, if you want to combine them all together, you could do that.
I'll experiment with it and see how it works in that time. Like making something really big, like a siege juggernaut, and seeing how that kind of works. Does that like increase its fighting force?
It has a significant impact, but not very insignificant to you.
Okay.
I'm
just wondering if I could have something that would like a singular entity that would like distract Zombie Hulk if he comes back.
They are more functional is the smaller units. But if you want to do some serious damage to the real world, you could use one of the big ones. That big one would be like maybe a typical strength.
Yeah. Okay.
Typical strength would be class shift 500.
Okay, so he's like Hulk.
Yeah.
Shadow Hulk, smashing stuff.
So he could destroy the planet.
Yeah. All right. No, that's not what I want to go for. All right. And then the last question that I have is, what? Can you tell me what the rules were? The stipulation was from the Vishanti. They said that we need to survive a week with our dimension intact.
No. Yeah. Well, yes, you need to survive is assumed, and the rules were that the one who could protect their dimension was the winner, the best.
And what's the definition of dimension?
The whole reality, the whole dimension that you're within. So, like I said, but we're going to stick with that reality terminology. Reality is the main dimension, the material world. Our reality is the shadow dimension, but the dimension is the whole thing.
Okay, because I was wondering if I make like an alternate dimension, like mirror for mirror, does that give me a loophole?
Yeah, you can make one. It's just going to be like a... So let's just say he does that because he wouldn't know what the results would be. And you get a orbital dimension, an orbital reality around your shadow dimension, which is a dark dimension. As you look at within it, it's a world of infinite darkness. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll craft my soldiers into that, and I will speak with my Raven Guard guys and see if they like work with the mages there that we have to like explain better, like understand better summon, or I guess the higher ups in the order for summoning me.
None of your people... Well, I guess they do have some summoners. Weren't you getting summoned by speeds, guys?
Yeah.
I believe you are.
No, I also set it up. Well, at least what I had asked for. If it didn't happen, that's okay. I had asked for my people to be able to summon me.
Your people were persecuting mages. I don't think any of them are maybe they were summoners back when you set it up. That was probably like 40, 50 years ago. So...
Yeah.
There aren't any mages left.
Oh. Can I train some of them to be mages?
No.
I guess I'm
I
not
mean, you
mage.
can, but you think that it's just going to cause another major split in your group.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I guess what I want to do then, maybe I'll work with Speeds guys then, is I want someone to be able to, like, tactically summon me. Like work on...
You can't be summoned like that. You're a dimensional entity, right? You're a cataclysm. Like you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Like there's no popping in and out. I'm just not sure
if they could like work to like open portals strategically throughout reality to let my armies through.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, yes, they could let some of them in, but the only way to get a significant amount of your army, which they're not going to survive long on the material realm without access to the shadow dimension.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if working with the mages, if they could make dimensional rifts, apertures, like, to be open, but, like, in strategic spots, and then also be able to close them. Like, just work with them so that they can do that really competently.
I don't know if anybody's thought of that idea. You could try to convince the mages to do that. You might want to... You've gotten some experience with reality creation and stuff. You think that would probably be quite... quite dangerous.
But they could just, like, some rogue guy could just, like, throw open a shadow dimension.
No, making a bunch of holes in reality is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's why I want to work with someone to do it like tactically and responsibly.
No, that's what I'm saying, Jordan. You can't just pop open a portal into another dimension.
Okay.
I mean, you can if it shuts immediately. That's how the spell works. If you want to make a gate, you're causing a you're taking if you make a gate, you're like make a little opening, and it's very small. It seals up right behind you. Like the nature of reality fixes itself, heals quickly. If you want to make a big one that you can let armies through or you through, you're taking your hatchet, and instead of like poking the guy with the needle and being like, oh, let's draw a little blood, you're hatcheting the guy in the leg until the blood gushes out. Right?
Yeah. But there isn't like a surgeon scalpel kind of way to do it where you make it and it's an original cut, but then to like allow something through and then you seal it back up. That's not an option.
It's a tremendous summoning you is a tremendous amount of effort, or summoning your armies is a tremendous amount of effort. Very few people can do it, even without all that, and it uses up a lot of resources to do it. Okay, but two, you could try it. It could be very dangerous.
Okay.
Your experience would be that you think it would be quite dangerous and risky. You could experiment on it on your little subdimension if you don't care about what happens to the dark dimension. So.
I mean, but if something happens to the dark dimension while I'm bound to it, do I cease to exist?
You're in the shadow realm. The shadow realm.
Yeah, all right, then I'll do that. I'll practice with that.
Remember, you made a little subdimension.
Yeah, that's right. All right, yeah, I'll practice that and kind of see how it works.
All right. I think that was your whole day. So I think you've got a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Make a roll. Make it on your shadow powers. No karma.
Okay. So I'm hitting it 70. If you said I'm bumping it 2 CS.
Yeah, plus another one for being in the shadow dimension.
Alright, so we're sitting at monstrous. I like that. I like monstrous shadow powers. Hold up, Discord's on Discord. What are you doing? Sorry. Here we go. What? Alright.
Your experience as you attempt this is that it's very difficult, and you struggle.
It's a red, baby.
You struggle with it, but then you're able to get it to work, and you can open up a portal. You know you wouldn't be able to do this if this realm wasn't a minor dimension of yours, right?
Yeah.
But Eryn may be able to do it for you. You open it up, close it up, after you let through a good portion of your shadow army through. No major issues.
Okay. So I guess I'll basically take notes and give that to Eryn.
Yeah. So your realization is that you put yourself at about a 15% chance of success for you yourself. And if you want to try it again, you can then spend karma.
Okay. Does it help me? Am I going to get better and better at it if I can do that?
No. It's so unstable. It's very likely to. And if what'll happen is the two dimensions will collide. And since that one, it'll have a high chance of just destroying the dark dimension. But there is a possibility of the shadow dimension getting destroyed, which would probably leave you comatose for a while.
Yeah.
But you.
Well, I don't want the shadow dimension to get destroyed, so.
Yeah. Okay. So.
All right.
Eryn, you apply the trap to the boundary. The discovery. The initial thing is that anybody who doesn't belong, any dimensional entities from another reality, gets a -1 CS to all of their abilities while they're in your world.
Woo!
You think you could improve that, like harshen the penalties, but you would have to take a limitation on all of the dimensional entities in your world too, and spend more time.
And what do you mean by limitation on dimensional
You
entities?
have to give yourselves all a weakness. So it could be just move it to +2 CS, a -2 CS to anybody who enters. You could say that energy blasts, or anything that manipulates energy is weakened by the same amount for dimensional entities from your world. Or you could say that dimensional entities lose strength or something. Or you could come up with they have a weakness to gold.
Okay.
It's toxic to every dimensional entity.
That would be hilarious to have a tiny little weakness. So
the more ranks of negativity you apply, the more weaknesses you have to get, and the harsher they have to be.
Okay.
So the first one are kind of the level I described, like, a weakness to gold. Something that's not that uncommon, but is pretty dangerous. And then the second level, or a reduction to your ability to do energy manipulation, or physical strength, something that would really harm your ability to prosecute battles, but only specifically. But the next level would dramatically increase that, and 4 would be like a prohibition, like you are no longer allowed to influence the material world, or any of the material worlds, or you're no longer allowed to physically confront somebody.
So, how many ranks is turning myself into a normal human?
I would say that's a -6.
Alright, and everybody right now is in the shift 5,000 to 6,000 range, right?
No. These are to your levels.
Okay, so the highest enemy...
Actually, I would make it a -5, so...
Right now, the highest is probably somebody with monstrous abilities. I don't know if any of the contenders have any.
Yeah, so they would go down to incredible.
Right. So, but they'd still be shift 5,000 essentially when they come into the realm.
No, they would be incredible against Autopsy or Ileana.
Gotcha.
So they would almost be. They would be slightly stronger than Ileana.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then we're down you being really strong, and you're really strong.
Yeah, then you're a non-factor. All you'd be able to do is summon Autopsy.
Right.
And if you die, it's game over too. Because
Right,
if one of them just says like, I don't know where Eryn is, let's blow up the main planet, and then the planet gets blown up, you're dead.
Right. Yeah, I thought of that.
That seems fairly unlikely, but it could happen.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll take weakness to radiation as an additional to give everybody who enters a -2 CS. Do you think that's acceptable?
No.
No?
It's got to be worse.
Okay. Trying to think. In the waiting room, did we see a lot of people with gold other than Ankara?
No, but I mean that also means that if any of the people in your world had gold, there probably were some. Benny had a gold part on his sword. Morgan had some gold stuff on her dress. Morgan Le Fay.
Hey, how about you're allergic to a color, Josh?
That would work, yeah.
Do you not like the color purple?
I feel like purple's a pretty common wizard color. I don't think I
It's a
should.
pretty common Marvel villain color, too.
Yeah,
It's only by
Phantasma
green.
has a whole purple outfit.
Yeah. You could be weak to like yellow. That one doesn't come up nearly. No, that's X-Men. Orange. I think orange is probably the least used Marvel color.
Yeah, as long as Hobgoblin doesn't show up.
Yeah, the Thing.
Yeah, well, as far as I'm aware, they're not in here. So, all right. So I guess as far as weaknesses go, Eryn will bump it up to -2 CS. And he will take a weakness to iron.
No, it has to apply to all the dimensional entities.
Oh, this applies to all the dimensions.
Yes, I mean, if you want to give it for you yourself to become immortal, I would say that's worth a -5 to everybody. But if you're gonna just give an iron weakness, it's got to apply to everybody. That includes the gods realm, includes the demons, which could be pretty beneficial, honestly.
Yeah.
So, iron. All the humans are already weak to iron. But are you meaning like iron is +1 CS, or are you meaning like iron will poison you and you will die?
Poison you, and you may die.
Yeah, iron is way too widespread. But you said I can't pick anything that's
I would
not.
I would say, actually no, I would say it wouldn't poison you and you would die. I would say your defenses do not negate it, and you can't affect it.
Okay, like if somebody hits me with an iron staff, it goes right through my shield, essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Or an iron alloy.
What about silicon?
No.
Why? That's sand related.
Oh, you mean the element, not like a silicon chip kind of thing?
No, right, like the element silicon, like a weapon made out of silicon or sand specifically.
The element is very common, so I would be more than okay with that. I will say this, it would be pretty detrimental against anybody who's using earth control too. So yes.
All right, fine. We'll just go with silver. Let's do silver.
Silver makes sense. You're a wizard. The Fae, werewolf shape
Can
changes.
there be an exception for my staff that is literally on me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Atlantean silver. It's not that stainless stuff.
It's actually like
Sterling.
interdimensional silver.
It's
'cause
nickel.
like
It's
chipped
nickel.
150.
It's actually nickel plated.
It's
Yeah.
a nickel-plated
What?
silver staff.
That's bombs. They cheated me.
All right. So yeah, I choose silver.
All right. So you just need to keep that a secret.
Yep.
I don't tell anyone, even Autopsy.
That sounds good.
All right.
That sounds pretty good.
Short break.
That's actually very classic. The demons are probably already weak to it.
Well, now they are. Short break. We'll adjourn for a moment. Okay.
And
And then I'm going to have to hop off in about half an hour. So
I'm gonna
in
get
about 15, 20 minutes.
I'm gonna get something to drink,
But you guys keep going.
and then we'll be
Okay.
back. We're gonna make a couple rolls to see if anybody shows up, and if not, that is the end of day 5.
cool.
So Josh, give me some ideas, man. What do you think? Am I hampered by this shadow dimension thing since I can't seemingly like safely. Well, I guess we'll see if you can summon it, because I want to be able to get like the forces of the shadow dimension at play, but maybe it just makes sense to get rid of it.
I mean, the problem is if we destroy the shadow dimension, the light dimension is destroyed also, and all the creatures of both of them will spill into the outer dimension.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess I just feel like I'm not super useful. Because Jake's saying that I can't, like, pull things from it to use. And I'd like to have some way of, like, maybe grounding like having a permanent rift in it inside of me to power me up when I'm outside of it, but I don't think he's going to go for that either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that he'll let me summon you instead of relying on the wizards.
Yeah.
But that'll maybe have to be discussed in the next day. And I'm not sure how many wizards that can summon you in Ileana are alive anymore. I feel like a few years have passed. I'm not sure how many exactly. We'll ask Jacob.
The apprentices mostly have made it to master thanks to your intervention. So there's probably about 10. So it actually hasn't really gotten much worse.
Okay, so they could. There are people who can summon Autopsy and Ileana.
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, if you had not helped them out, Eryn, my thought was that they would more or less get annihilated, and you'd have like an evil wizard to rule the world sort of scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to leave them hanging because they did me a solid. Like I said, a Lannister pays their debts.
Alright. So, Autopsy. Make a D100 roll.
Okay. Am I adding anything to this or doing anything?
Nope. You're determining if an event happens in the first 4 hours.
Alright, 45.
Peaceful.
Nice. That's what we like.
So, how many hours did I spend? Did I spend the full day setting up the -2 CS barrier?
I would say that one probably takes roll a D10 and double it.
Dice Maiden did not respond.
I'll roll.
Probably because I'm in supplements. One sec. That's wrong. Alright, so 4 hours plus 2, so I've used 6 hours.
Yep.
Apparently, I have realized that I actually have a really good knack for messing with interdimensional energies.
Hacking. You're a hacker.
Yeah.
Maybe I should spend 200 and get dimensional energy understanding as a talent after this.
That would be a useful skill.
Especially if I become a Sorcerer Supreme.
I would be up.
Yeah.
That seems like a good talent to me. Yeah. So you do that. You've got a little bit of time left. You take care of some other business. This and that. We need to move all along on the day. But if you've got anything else, you can toss it in there. Jordan, roll again for me.
49.
The first 8 hours of that day are quiet. Nothing happens. Roll again.
Autopsy's training his troops and being like, please God, keep them away. 23.
Okay.
It's one of those situations where low is bad and high is better.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, fellas.
There is a dimensional an infraction happening as the shield weakens, and you can feel a powerful magical force start to affect it.
Okay. I'm assuming you're talking to Eryn
Yep.
right now?
All of you.
Okay. So Eryn reaches out to notify his wizards to summon Ileana and Autopsy,
Okay, they begin the ritual.
and Eryn goes to investigate.
Okay. Can you hear me
It takes
okay?
yeah. It takes a little bit of time for them to get the ritual together, a couple minutes, which will be no problem. The barrier is holding. You get out to the outer limits of your dimension, and when you get there, you realize that the dimension is being breached quite simply. It's a brute force assault, straightforward and honest to a fault, honestly. You know that if you peek out here, they'll be able to assault you and pull you out onto an even playing field. So what do you want to do?
Can I
Hang out, baby.
can I extend a protective barrier outside of that with my staff power?
No. If you go out, you can put it inside of it, you know, kind of protecting the interior from the exterior, right? Kind of siphoning, blocking off the outer limits of the inside.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. Sort of as a reinforcing thing, I'll put up my barrier.
Okay, the material realm is protected. Autopsy, you're the first to appear, and you arrive in the material realm. The lizards bow to you, and you leap into the air, having gotten the mental message. Moments
I give
later,
my thanks to them as I leap forward.
moments later, you're at the outer edge of the solar system.
Yeah. Aaron, good to see you, buddy. I do the forearm grab kind of thing.
The Top Gun who? No, wait.
Yeah.
Eryn does what he can while maintaining his staff. Do you want me to let you out there?
Your trained trick boys do a good job.
That's
What are we dealing with?
I don't know. It seems like a brute force assault. I would have to guess Dr. Doom.
No, he's got to be smarter than that, doesn't he?
What's smarter than using missiles from your suit?
Yeah. If I'm thinking about it, it might be Pangea and his demented wizard that he had. That guy.
Well, remember, we have no idea what's going on over there.
That's what I'm just saying. I didn't like the look of that guy.
He knows him. You guys know who you paired Pangea up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Lancaster guy's a real tool.
All right, as you say that Lancaster guy's a real tool, there is a boom as the boundary of your dimension splits open, and striding through it confidently on a set of metallic rocket boots in his majestic green cloak and familiar steel face, followed behind by a woman in gold armor with a long green cloak, who steps forward, bows, and says, "My liege," and lets him pass through in front of him. And he looks to her and he says, "Doom approves of your efforts, Victorious. Thank you." And he looks forward, steps through, and he goes, So it is you, Eryn. You who have faced the might of doom before, and know the fear for which doom himself strikes upon the hearts of mortal men.
Eryn squints and be's like, Doom? Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Who's this guy?
Eryn says, anyway, it's time for you to leave. And he launches, as soon as he crosses the boundary, he launches a massive attack.
Alright. Make an attack roll.
This is for 2. That was a prank. Okay, so that's a yes for 2.
Just Jake, real quick, with an unearthly psyche, Josh doesn't automatically get 2 spells.
He doesn't have an earthly, does he?
Yeah, I have an earthly.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, I have monstrous 90.
Or monstrous.
No, you never get 2 automatically.
Okay.
You can get 3 on a red. Well, no, you can't get more than 2 spells as a wizard anyways.
Yep.
Is that just like to keep them kind of balanced compared to everybody else?
I don't know. Makes sense to me. We added in a second spell. I mean, that seems like a big power boost.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're getting to do 2 different powers. But then I can, so whatever. Nice, Josh. Good roll.
So I get 2 attacks. Eryn thinks for a second to see if he should. No, he doesn't think for a second. He just launches in and trusts that Autopsy can make his own decisions. Eryn will drop 2 ranks to go up to hold on. $70 is sensational or spectacular?
Spectacular.
Okay. I will drop 4 ranks to go up to unearthly. And I'm gonna blast Dr. Doom with unearthly while he's weakened in my realm, telekinesis.
Just to like send him flying out of there.
Basically.
And Jake, can I?
So
can
stats that are weakened, right, are psyche, intuition, endurance, strength, agility, fighting. Okay, the ones that are not weakened are reason and personality, which I think makes sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And their spells too, right?
All spells are weakened by 2.
Can I like grab?
And any superpowers or innate abilities are also weakened.
Gotcha.
So Victorious, you know, has the power cosmic through her, through being injected with it by Dr. Doom, and so all of her abilities are weakened.
Gotcha. Yep. So that's a yellow.
Jake,
Right.
because Speed and I have like worked together on our team for over a year now. Can I do this? Can we do this like a team up attack kind of thing where he telekinetically blasts him and then I add to the momentum of that by like throwing a like blasting, like slamming into Doom 2 just to send him like end over end out of our dimension? Because I think he's hitting at an earthly and I'd be hitting at an earthly for that.
So you just want to attack him too? At the same time?
Yeah, I kind of want to. I kind of want to like. He's
I mean,
blast him.
Victorious is clearly going to intercept you. I mean, you guys aren't really surprising anybody.
Yeah, fair. No,
I guess I'll deal with her. I'm familiar with Power Cosmic.
You can attempt to go for Doctor Doom, but you'll have to at least knock her away.
No, I think I should deal. I should deal with her. It's fitting.
Okay.
What you say
So-
her name was? Victorious?
Victorious. Doctor Doom doesn't attempt to dodge as you strike against his force field with your full telekinetic blast, and as it strikes against his force field, you see it flicker and it go down, and he says, "Oh, well done, Eryn. You're more capable than I would have given you credit for.
His force field is shift 150?
You dropped 4 ranks, so you only got 2 ranks of increase. That's unearthly."
Right, so that would, but he should be two lower once he crosses
Yeah.
the boundary.
Yeah.
So he's his shield is normally shift 150.
You would assume so if you thought his force. You fought Doctor Doom before. You know his force field's not magical.
Yeah, it's tech based.
I don't remember it being that powerful, but okay.
So as it strikes against him, you got a second attack.
Yep. All right, I roll for my second. And
Doom counters it.
Yeah, I go wide, I guess.
As the beam shoots forward at it, he raises his hand as if to just swat it away. Then he's struck by it, and he looks down at his hand as he's pushed back, and he goes, "There's an interesting defense you have put up. Doom has some interest in your knowledge, but we are not here to fight. But Doom and his minion is not here to battle you, Eryn."
And so what requests does
As
Dr.
Victoria's
Doom
just like
have?
blasting at Autopsy, dodge Autopsy.
Yeah. I'm like dodging, and I'm like, but I like do the thing, like my white eyes get all big. I'm like, oh, you're not? You know, as I'm.
Okay, she got 2 attacks on him.
That should be solidly. I think that's a yellow.
Her agility is taking a serious hit, so
Well, a 15 is still white, I think, right?
that's actually a yellow still for her. So the first blast strikes against you, hitting against your shoulder for spectacular damage. No wait, 35 damage.
I just shrugged that off.
Yeah, because you kind of raise up your arm at the last second and it deflects against it. The second blast goes wide as you move too quick for her to keep up with you. And she says, "My lord, I feel surprisingly sluggish here. This fool who has dared defied your glory and grace is proving difficult to strike down." And he raises his hand. And like a fist, and he's like, "Quiet. Speak when spoken to."
All right, Victor, you got our attention.
And he says, "Is this how you greet guests in your realm, Eryn?"
Normally, guests don't have to blow a hole through the wall to get in. Speak your piece and leave quickly.
He looks frustrated for a second, as you can see him cross his arms and do the angry Doom face, and he's "Fine, be that as it may. I have come here tell you or make you a generous offer from the make you a generous offer. I propose an alliance. You are the nearest to me, and you are the nearest to Lord Doom. It's hard to do that third person all the time.
Yeah.
And as such, are being given this honor. If you you must know that our enemies in this contest seek much more than to be the Sorcerer Supreme of our dimension. Some seek the destruction of all of our reality, and as such must be dealt with.
I can think of a few off the top of my head. Do you have a specific one you're thinking of, or?
Ankara's pretty bad.
Thinking of Ankara and thinking of
He nods. He says, the one known as Ankara and the alien being known as Phantasma are both of minor inconvenience to Doom. Not as well as your paltry nemesis, Dr. Lancaster.
Eryn looks at him quizzically. I'm not sure who you're talking about, but okay.
He chuckles.
Continue.
He chuckles. He apparently
Jake,
finds
is
that.
it
He apparently
Phantasma or
finds
is it
that funny when it's related to other people. All right.
Selective humor. I appreciate it.
He says, "Aid me, so that we may so that Doom may destroy the dangers to our reality."
I will follow through with the truce, but I will only work together on equal terms. I will not aid Doom. We will work as a team. Or we can truce, or we can continue here what we started when you first entered uninvited.
He scoffed and he says, "Dr. Doom has no equals."
Then maybe you'll have to pretend.
May that as it were, I can agree to leave Dr. Doom alone.
This
if
offer
Dr.
has been given to you for Doom wishes. Doom seeks assurances that none of these rats may escape.
Okay. So, is your intention, Doom, to kill these people?
He looks at you like that's the dumbest thing you ever said.
I'm just saying, like, if you kill them, the Vishanti can just bring them back. We are in their pretend world.
He does not answer a question that he finds insulting to everyone's intelligence involved.
I mean, does he really think that he can kill these people and that they'll stay dead?
Eryn also sort of just like bows his head like, yes, these are the Vishanti, they're not killing us here.
But he's talking about like killing Ankara. Oh, did I misinterpret what he was saying?
No,
Is he not
no.
saying
I
he's
mean,
gonna kill her?
he's saying killer. So maybe he just intends to wipe her out of the competition because if you're dead, you're out of the competition.
That would make more sense.
Or maybe he has a way to kill her permanently, dead.
I mean, either one of those sound pretty okay.
I will agree to work with you for the next 24 hours.
Is that all you gotta
That's
say?
a fair deal.
He says,
What?
"Then it is decided. Come. Doom's
I will
plans
mark up-
are already prepared. For Doctor Doom knew the answers and knows all of the answers." And he flips his cloak and walks out. You see an army of Doombots floating in the space between dimensions.
Like full sized, like him sized.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's got like celestial doom bots. Alright, I'm gonna have to hop off, guys, but Josh, I guess like debate very carefully if you want me to stay behind, maybe with her, like as a like insurance kind of thing, and you and Doom go in there and wreck her. Because I think it sounds like a bad idea if we just leave our dimension without anybody to protect it.
Yeah,
But
I'm not.
You guys decide what you want to do there.
Yeah, I don't
Doom
think I'm
seems like
gonna.
he's wanting an alliance with you.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'll have to make that decision. I don't know if we'll be able to continue on without you, but I'll work with Jacob and I'll let you know what's.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, Jake, you've got you know what I can do in this dimension.
I think somebody has to stay behind in your guys' realm where you guys are gonna be in a lot of danger.
Yeah. So I think I'll stay behind then. But let me know how it goes. All right. Have a good night, you guys.
See ya.
Okay. So, do you want to try and finish ours up tonight, or do you think it would be better to play out the Ankara thing first?
Well, okay, so here's the deal. He turns and leads the army to the next dimension over. And then directs Victorious to start blasting.
Blasting at us or at the next dimension?
The next dimension. You're just kind of floating there next to him. And he says, "These dimensions are impenetrable even to my sciences and magic. Even to Emperor King Lord Doom's or Doctor Doom's magic and science. As such, the inhabitants must be discovered forcefully."
Okay. Well, what I do is I actually I tell him he can reach out to me telepathically when it's time, but I'm gonna repair my universe. I'm not leaving with him.
Oh, it'll get fixed. It fixes itself.
Oh, gotcha.
Once there's nothing there to hold the breach open, it'll fix itself. So,
And I can go in and out at will, right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Then
don't
I
know
just
which
stand-
you don't know which dimension is Doctor Doom's, or which dimensions you're next to. So, because you guys haven't really explored too much around here.
Yep. Yeah, I stand outside and just watch him blast it open from a distance, but I'm still near mine, and I put up my force field around my dimension.
What do you want to do? Do you want to keep going?
I'll play an observer for a little while, but I've told Doom like I'm not following you right now. Like,
No, I mean, do you want to keep playing?
I kind of like the idea of having Jacob Jordan here for like to be able to make his own decisions, and I really want to discover a way to be able to summon him at will, almost,
Yeah.
if I can devise a way.
Okay.
Can I stand outside of my dimension and try various summons?
Yeah. There's no way to summon him outside your dimension. It's
Gotcha.
not possible. You have to. I mean, like I said, the easiest way to do it would be to collapse the Shadow Realm.
Yep. if I collapse the Shadow Realm, the barrier of the main realm is still, like, closed. But it could be forced open by outside entities like the shadow creatures. Is that accurate?
No, when you collapse it, you're just gonna dump the contents of the shadow dimension.
Into the Earth planet dimension.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's like they share a border that can break, not that it's its own border.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because the things really can't exist between dimensions, right?
Right. But we could still separate Jordan from his dimension if he's willing to let a monster take over.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really matter that much, except for his Raven Guard will be worshipping a monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he won't be able to speak to them all anymore.
Yep. Not without going in person.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless you're just really wanting to finish this tonight, I think I will hold off till maybe we can try again with Jordan to finish up the last 2 days.
Okay. Then let's make this a roll. Okay, so you crack open another dimension with Doom, and he gestures forward and he says, "There is another reason that Doom sought your alliance, Eryn. Your allies in this competition are numerous. Their efforts, though inconsequential, are better directed elsewhere than to face me, than to face Doom. My Doom's forces must be preserved for the conflict against the true enemies."
Well, I do agree that you're not an agent of chaos.
So he's gesturing for you to go in first. He's clearly going to step in right with you, but he wants you to, in case it's your friends, he wants you to tone it down.
I see. I do decide I will step in with him.
Okay, so as you guys step in, you see in a dimension that is turned entirely into sand. It is floating around a bright sun, and you see in front of you Baron Mordo floating there, and then he sees you all, and he says, "How dare you trespass into what is mine?" And Dr. Doom, you see a smile appear underneath the iron mask, and he says, "Slave of Dormammu, kneel before Dr. Doom or die." And he says, "Never, Doom. I'll see you all destroyed. And you too, Eryn. You can join your friend." Meaning Doctor Strange.
Oh, gotcha.
And he generates a bunch of magical energy around his arms, and then he siphons, and then you see a bunch of the planets just smash into the sun, and then he siphons out the energy into glowing balls into his hands, and he looks like he's gonna throw the actual physical makeup of the universe at you. Then the sand, it looks like the rest of the planet, the whole dimension's been turned into sand, and then you see a massive face appear in it. And at that, Doom goes, and the Doom bots start marching in. and we will. Victorious charges in at the front of the Doombots, and we'll come back to the fight, I guess, next time.
Okay, sounds good.